Hey guys, I'm back. I had to move my phone. I'm actually recording with a Galaxy Note 2, so I'm sorry if the audio's rough or if the video's rough or something like that. Next thing I want to talk about is the mods that I have, what I've done to them, how I use them, what they, how they work, a little bit of performance evaluation on some of them and things like that. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of money. I work full time. My wife stays at home with my 5-month-old daughter. So money's kind of tight right now. So all of the stuff you're going to see is all clones, knockoffs, cheap stuff, that kind of thing. I've started, I know there's not much on camera, sorry. But I've started with, the analog lookalike, Halo G6. Not too bad, not too great. Quickly moved up to a lava tube. Thought it was alright, it worked great for a little while. I busted it up and it quit working, so I moved up to a Vamo. Vamo V2 was by far one of my favorite devices for quite some time. Busted it up too. It lasted for, I don't know, I want to say a good 6 or 8 months. I didn't take really good care of it. Jobs were different then. But here's what I got now. First thing I have is a K100. There's videos everywhere out there about this. I did do a trade to a friend of mine in California. His name is Matt. I talk to him almost every day. I did a trade for it. I had a smoke natural and an RSST. I didn't want the RSST anymore, and I decided to do a trade with him. And I wanted a K100. I know I gave him quite a bit of stuff, and then he traded me back a whole lot of stuff after that too. He's got a bunch of juice he's sending me and stuff like that. But on to the mods, all right? I've got a K100. If you're interested in something like this, there's videos everywhere. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it. I did knock the sleeve off. So, it looks just straight chrome telescoping tube. That's about it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. 510 Ego connector. I did come up with a cool idea though. I don't have it with me. But this will not fit an 18650 and a kick. So what I did is the Vamo V2, the tube on it will actually fit into the threads on this one. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find that real quick, okay? I'll be right back. Give me just a second. Sorry if you heard me wrestling around back there. I don't know how to edit videos or anything like that. Excuse me. So you'll probably just have to listen to it, sorry. So this is a tube from a Vamo V2. And all it is just a battery extension. It'll screw directly onto here. And then I just take the switch, put it on the bottom. I know it looks goofy, but I like my 18650s and pretty much everything. Now, it won't usually be this big once you get it put together. So you put your kick in there, get that all set up. There's videos out there on that too. And it'll look roughly like that once you get an 18650 and a kick. Not too bad. It lasts quite a while. I like it. I used to use it on my EVODs and, cardo tanks and stuff like that. Not a bad device. I love sub-ohming on this one. And I used to have all my RDAs and all that stuff set up on it. And I'll show you those too. I quit using this for my RDAs and all that stuff. I've actually set it to the side for a little while because I got another mod that I've been trying out and I really like it. And I'll show you that one here in a little bit. The next one I want to move over to is the KTS Storm. I've got a love and a hate relationship for this thing. I don't like sub-ohming on it. I don't like doing RBAs and RDAs, none of that stuff on it. Because the switch gets hot, and I'll talk about that in a second. But what I do use this one for is I use a kick in it. This is a kick clone, 15 bucks. Works just great, I think. And that's the thing though about some of this cheaper stuff. If it goes bad, I got some time out of it, whatever, I'm happy with it. I did do some modifications on this one. I took the chrome plating off of the positive pin. I didn't do it on that side. I'm not that confident yet. But I took it off there, and I think it made it hit a little bit harder. It made the connection a little bit better. My camera went out of focus, so give me a second. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully it'll refocus. There it goes. Took the chrome plating off that. This camera is going to act a little weird because the lighting in here is bad, and I apologize for that. Take the tubes off. Take the bottom section off of it. This is your contact where your switch hits. I did take the chrome plating off of that as well. And I am awfully sorry about this camera. I don't know what's going on here. Took the chrome plating off that. Helped out quite a bit, I think. And then the switch. This is where I have my biggest problems with it. You won't be able to see it, but on the very end of the switch, I did take the whole thing apart. I took all the chrome plating off the very inside of it. This is the problem with it. It's such a small pin that the connectivity in it is good, but that pin is so small that it creates a kind of a bind with the flow. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it heats this thing up really bad. And I can put the same setup, same battery, in another tube and not have a problem. So I know that it's got to be something to do with the switch. I haven't figured it out just yet. But the it hits really good. If you don't mind that hot feeling, which I don't like at all, it makes me think there's something wrong. But yeah, that's why I kind of put this on the back burner. I only use it for cardo tanks, stuff like that when I'm running low on supplies or anything like that. Not a bad device, but it is not made for sub-ohming, I don't think, in my opinion anyway. Let's go ahead and put this back together. I did realize that the posts, I clean them up really good, all the contacts, alcohol prep pads, all that stuff. And it does help out for a little bit, granted 2 or 3 hours, and then the switch starts getting hot again, and I just got tired of it. So put that on to the side. The next thing I like to talk about is my newest mod that I got. I got it off of Fast Tech. It is a clone. It's a replica, I guess you could say. The only thing I really don't like about some of the clones is how they do put the logos on there. But, it happens. It's got the Grand Vapor logo on it. This is an M16 clone. It's got Grand Vapor written on it. I don't know if you can see that. Not a big fan of that. But, you know what? This is a good device so far. This is probably my favorite one I've had. Let's talk about it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tear it down, bring in all the pieces, and I'll show them to you. Pretty sure that's all of them. Alright, the switch. The switch isn't bad. It's got a locking ring, not reverse threaded. It's kind of normal. Another thing, it's also got the Grand Vapor logo on the bottom and the serial number. That happens. Switch is not bad. It's got a good press on it. I don't mind it. It is a little stiff, but it's not that bad. Fires, whether you hit it on a corner or if you hit it in the middle, it works pretty much everywhere. Sorry about these fingernails. I cleaned them earlier. Brass contact. It's got an O-ring that your battery sits on to make contact. Pretty smooth. This, I don't know. This does not feel like aluminum. This locking ring feels almost like plastic, but it's hard, so I guess it would be aluminum. Just feels cheap, of course, but it's 13 bucks. That's all I spent on this mod. It's not a bad piece at all in my book. Let's go ahead and put this thing together just a little bit. Those guys are right. It is kind of hard to do this stuff on camera. Everything's a little bit wonky. This is aluminum. All the silver pieces are aluminum, and everything else is brass. We'll go ahead and telescoping tube. Put that in there. The threads, not bad. They're not ultra smooth, but they're really not bad. And I think that's because the aluminum is a really soft metal, so it kind of glides better. And then the top piece, I'm going to put that on there. Alright, let's talk about this part a little bit. And let's see if I can find a pen or something real fast so I can show you something. Here, I got one over here. Alright, you got a 510 connector. Shallow drip well, it's not, it's kind of your run-of-the-mill type thing. It's got the chamfered sides. Big brass piece for your battery contact. And it's a floating pin. It's spring-loaded. You can't see that. Makes it kind of nice, but the thing is, this is aluminum. Very, very easy to mess up the threading on it. But here's what I figured out that works. Everybody says, hey, make sure, you know, your battery, you back this off your battery so there's not a lot of pressure and you can get it in there. You can see the threads aren't like super tight. But the thing is, if you kind of press them together a little bit while you turn, it pushes that pin out a little bit as you go and makes things a lot smoother. I don't know if that's tearing up the threads anymore or not, but it works for me. I like it. Put my battery in there, and then I have to back this off a little bit. And then I'll show you another small issue I have with it. Let me put it together real quick, and I'll bring it back in. Okay. Now, I know it's kind of hard to see. This has got an 18650 in it. It is a flat top eFest. I like to use it for, you know, my sub-ohming stuff. Up to 10 amps, not a bad battery at all. You can't really see it, but if you look in here where the telescoping tube is, if it'll focus, you can barely see the thread starting to come through, just barely. You can level it out and it'll look pretty much natural, but I think if you use a button top in this thing, you're going to have a lot of thread showing. And just a few turns and this thing comes right off. So there's not a whole lot holding it on there. I don't think so anyway. Just a few threads. Sorry, getting a little bit of e-liquid everywhere. But you know, not a bad mod. I really like it. 13 bucks. I'm definitely happy with it. Took, you know, 2-3 weeks to get from Fast Tech. But, you know, when I order from Fast Tech, I know it's going to take a while, so I don't get overly anxious about it. You know, I just take my time and use what I've got until it gets here. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. So give me just a second. I do want to show you my atomizers and everything else that I use. So those are the mods that I have. You know, right now. Hey guys, sorry about the abrupt stop there. I'm at work. It's been kind of quiet, but I had a guy that needed my help, so I had to go help him out real quick. All right, let's get back to the atomizers. You know, I got rebuildables mostly. Drippers, those are my favorite by far. Here's the first one to talk about. Nimbus Cologne, $5 on Fast Tech, $6, something like that. Regular old 510 drip tip, 510 connector. It's still still producing vapor because I just took a couple hits before I come back. All right, let's see if I can get this bottom piece off there without getting juice. I know it's got a lot of juice in it, so hang on a second. I'll be right back. Alright, it's not horrible. Alright, it's got 3 posts in it. Everything is very juicy. There's a coil sitting in a cotton bed, nano coil. It uses an Allen key for the 3 screws. Only problem I have with it is they strip out. So they strip out really, really easy. So they're pretty much, I don't use an Allen key in them anymore. I just use my pliers to spin it down there, and I might do a rebuild on this sometime for you guys. It does have the holes in the posts. You can see 2 of them there. The other one's covered up in cotton. $5. This thing works pretty good. Doesn't hit as hard as some of my other Addies with it. Like this, I have a 0.9 ohm coil in that one, and in an IGO L, the IGO L hits harder. Like it actually heats up faster. You know, it just works better. These aren't bad. I don't think there's that great conductivity in them. For some reason, they just don't seem to flow as good as the other ones, I guess you could say. Give me a second. I'm going to put this back on my M16 clone so I can vape as we go. Next one I have is another Chimbus. I have this one drilled out. They're about 3 millimeters a piece. I got this drip tip from Fast Tech for like $2.50. I like it quite a bit. It's pretty slick. I get a lot of comments on it. This is what I use for cloud chasing. It's just when I want to show my friends, you know, big clouds, show off a little bit. You know, I do like chasing clouds every now and then. Dual nano inside. 1 ohm each. Got a 0.5 ohm load on this whole atomizer here. Both sitting on a bed of cotton. I use a straight VG in it. This is not made for, you know, flavor and all that good stuff. This is just for showing off. It's a fun little toy. Another $5 at Fast Tech. And, you know, I usually spend 10, 15 bucks at a time. And, you know, just get little pieces here and there to beef up the collection. Now, the next piece is Trident Clone. Not too bad. And I have another one that's tore down and I'll show it to you. But these drip tips, really heavy duty. They weigh almost as much as the atomizer piece, it seems. They're pretty beefy. This one, I don't know if I have anything in it. I did modify the air holes, and I'll show you that on the other one. Again, Grand Vapor logo on it. I did drill through it. Really don't care. But, I mean, clones are cool. Replicas, not a big fan of. I don't like seeing somebody's name brandished on a piece of shit. Alright, next thing is my tore down Trident clone. Alright, drip tip. You know, it's kind of fancy. Alright, the deck. The deck is where I have a huge problem with the deck. If it'll focus, sorry. This camera is pretty shady. Alright, you can see a nano in there. I love nano coils. They're just my favorite ones, I think. 1 ohm coil, 0.9 actually, sitting on a bed of cotton. Now this thing has a pretty crazy deep drip well. Can you see those 3 holes on the post in there? They're not lined up at all. They're actually way low in there, so they go down quite a ways inside the drip cup, and that to me is annoying as all hell. The wires, once you do get them through there, they separate your coil a little bit. It's a pain in the ass because you got to feed it through and then finagle it up to come up out of there, and it's just a pain in the ass. So all I do is treat it like a IGO W, I guess you could say, in a way, but without the posts or the hole in the post, and I just wrap it around the top like I would an IGO L. This is kind of like an IGO W design, I suppose. If that makes any sense. I know I'm rambling a little bit. But yeah, just wrap it around the post, tighten it down with a screwdriver, call it good. These things are not bad. I don't mind them too much at all. Just for, you know, having fun with. This is my drip tip. Alright, next part is, you can tell these are, they're not made too bad, but they are kind of thin. In the middle control ring. I'll put it all together here in just a second. I did drill, you know, through there, and then put another hole on the other side. So I do have dual air holes for when I want to run dual coil. Alright, this part, this is where it gets a little weird. I drilled all the way through. I put it all together, drilled all the way through, and it was supposed to line up. You know, it should have. I don't know if my drill got a little off a little bit or what. And I apologize for this camera. I don't know what's going on. It could be the lighting. Could be a lot of stuff. Hopefully it'll straighten up here. Alright, drilled all the way through for dual. Okay. And I wanted another one for a single because I didn't want to drill in these other ones and make it all crooked. But I went ahead and drilled all the way through and just did this one. But I think that what I did is these holes aren't 100% lined up straight all the way through. They're just barely off just a little bit. So when I drilled through to make the next one, I think I just hit the lip. It works fine. It's not a big deal for another $5. Both of these were $5 a piece. I'm not afraid to trash one if it's $5. Now, if I was running something really nice, take my time, and I do really well, you know, I can do good if I put my mind to it. But yeah, they line up and they put together. This piece here, once you get it in here, let me line them up and I'll come right back. Alright. You can see it's not completely lined up. My focus is horrible. So I need to put a lamp that'll shine in here so I can get better light. But I am in my work office, so the lighting is going to be horrible, and I'm sorry. See, those are not lined up on either side. Okay, I did the single. But the thing is, this is supposed to turn. Watch, let me get a drip tip. This part you're supposed to be able to spin to line up. I can torque this thing all day, and those O-rings hold it in there so good it just does not spin. So it takes a little bit of time to line up. You know, I get the screwdriver I use to build it and line them all up and everything. It's another problem I have with it. But I'm not picky. You know, if it works, it works. I'll mess with it. Now, to get this piece back off, I usually have to put the drip tip underneath of it and really just slam it down. Because those O-rings are pretty tight. And it's fairly new, so I don't know if it's will loosen up over time or not, okay? So, let me move on to some other stuff. Alright, those are most of my atomizers. I have one more. I have an IGO W, or an IGO L, sorry. I run single coil in it. Another nano. I did put this O-ring on the bottom of it on the outside because the guy I got it from, he had that small air hole in it. Or he had the big one in it, something like that. And I wanted some more airflow. So I drilled another hole. And what I did is put this O-ring on there. Because without the O-ring, the inside of the deck cuts off like half of this bottom air hole. So I just put the O-ring on it, raise the chamber up a little bit. Works just fine. These are the drip tips that came with the Chimbus, you know, the Nimbus clones. Just use one on here. I don't use it that often. But not a bad beginner dripping atomizer. This thing hits really well. I like the chamber in it. You know, it's very intense because of how small it is. If I can get this back off. No holes in the post. Just wrap them around the top, screw it down. You know, again, focus is horrible. I do plan on actually shooting better videos when I have a better place to film. You know, right now I'm just using my phone. It's a Note 2. Lighting's bad on it, so the focus, it's hard for it to focus in here. Let's see, what else do I want to show you? Batteries. Now the thing is, I like to sub-ohm. Batteries are a huge importance when you sub-ohm. I usually use these with the, you know, the kick, and sometimes when I go mini mode. Like if I want to go mini mode in the M16, it, you know, it almost closes up, and I'll show you. I can actually show you that real quick if you want. I know I jump around a lot, show you a lot of weird, you know, like go back from one thing to the next. But, you know, this is all the stuff that I use, and I'm not focused on one thing, so I'm a little scatter-minded right now. And I'm trying to film this in between phone calls and people need to come in for help and stuff like that, okay? So just bear with me. Actually, let's go ahead and put a little 350 in there. And this will take a minute. This thing's actually pretty cool in 350 mode. Just a little bitty guy. It closes up pretty much all the way with a flat top EFS 350 in it, 18350. With an atomizer on it, it's just open like that much. But this is literally just tiny. Here it is next to an 18650, like identical in size almost. I think it's pretty cool being that tiny. And then I like taking this in there and throwing some big clouds out of it and being like, people are like, oh man, that's so small and it still throws clouds. But yeah, you know, it's kind of cool. Alright, so your batteries, these are 10 amp batteries. They work well. I like eFest, some of the better batteries that I've had. I have some MNKE on the way. Those will be my go-to batteries once I get in. I have a 4-bay night core charger coming in. I'll show that to you when it comes in. It's one of those intelligent chargers. I've been running those little junky, you know, single bay chargers that you never know what's going on with them. They're kind of scary. And I just want a better charger. Now, some of the flavors that I've been vaping, I'm pretty much out of almost everything right now. Boba's Bounty, #1, pretty much. One of my favorites is Boba's Bounty. There is a place that I like that's in St. Clair, Missouri. It's a couple hours from me. And the guy makes some stuff called Drunken Fruit. Absolutely love it. It's probably tied with Boba's Bounty. But, of course, one's tobacco, one's fruit. So they're #1 in their own right. Pretty cool people. It's Smoke It Up Vapors. They are in St. Clair. If I do get this up on YouTube, I'll do some description links and all that good stuff once I figure out how to do it all. Okay, guys. All right. But what right now I have is mostly D&D Vapor. It's fairly cheap stuff. I got a sample pack. This is Potion of Frosty Fruit. There's D&D Vapor. It's an 80-20 blend at 6 milligrams. Stuff's good. It's a little bit of fruit and then that coolness that I was talking about. I actually like it quite a bit. It's weird. I don't know how to describe the coolness. I mean, it's just like biting into almost a frozen fruit. Berries and Cream, another one of my favorites. I got it in a sample pack. I've gone through probably 100 milliliters of this stuff over time. Love it. 80/20, I like high VG, you know, less throw hit. I can almost just do 0 milligram nicotine now, and it doesn't bother me. You know, I do like having a little bit, just take the edge off. But this one tastes like a mix of berries and then like the cream in it. It tastes like one of the creamy candies that you get with some fruit in it. It's kind of, think Hall's Breezers without the coolness in that, if that makes any sense. Or like a Starburst with heavy cream in it. I mean, that's what it reminds me of. Kind of a Starburst heavy cream. And then I have this green Ghost cooler. It's supposed to be like a high C, you know, like the green high C or whatever. I haven't spent a whole lot of time with this one, so I couldn't tell you. I can taste a little bit in there, but the flavoring is not super strong. Not yet, anyway. Let it steep and we'll figure it out. I did get some Ice Dragon Nectar. It was on sale. Cinnamon and something else. That something else I can't stand right now. It kind of drives me up a wall. I don't know what it is. I'm going to let it steep and come back to it, and if it's better, I'll let you guys know. Then this one, just an empty bottle I fill with glycerin. It's just my cloud sauce. That's what I call it. But that's pretty much all I got right now, guys. Thanks for sitting through almost 30 minutes of video. By the time I get it all put together and everything, it's probably what it'll be like. Thanks for hanging out, and I appreciate it. Give me a couple seconds. I'll move the camera back up to me and maybe throw out a few more words, and we'll be done.